Music your way.
The Everyman Radio Podcast. Interview with Jennifer Ervig, the strong, independent black woman who don't need no man.
This Everyman Radio Podcast is proudly sponsored by webscontent.com. Fast, secure and reliable.
Fast, secure and reliable web hosting from Web's Content.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live.
So, hello, Jen. Hello.
And welcome to Everyman Radio. And I'm Richard. And you're Jen, is it Ervig? Ervig? Is that?
Yes, it's Ervig. It's Norwegian, but a lot of people want to sneak an N in there and call me Irving. But you did well. You did well.
Okay. So, so Jen, I'm just looking at your image and you look very white to me. Because actually one of the things that fascinated me and attracted me to making contact with you, where your Facebook blurb says you're a strong, independent black woman who don't need no man. And I got very excited. And then I see you and well, I don't want to say I'm disappointed.
I love this already. Yeah, I'm obviously white, and not only white, a Norwegian white. So that's about as white as you can get. No, it's so funny. So that blurb did what it was supposed to do. People to be intrigued, like, what is this Jennifer girl's issue? In fact, funny story about that. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember her name right now, but there is a beautiful black woman who does her own like Facebook lives and stuff. I can't remember. She's an author too, but she actually reached out to me because she too found me, saw that, and what? She looks so white. She private messaged me and she goes, "Are you black or white?" And I told her, I'm white, I'm Norwegian, and she just busted up laughing and thought that was the funniest thing ever. And now we're Facebook friends, and she's a delight.
Oh, that's great. It's great. It reminds me, I went to, must be 20 years ago, and I've talked about it before, when I lived for a year in America, and my friends flew out, and we went to all the national parks in a big Dodge Ram van, not a Ram, just a big Dodge van.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to, so in, we're near you, where you are, I think. Are you in Seattle? Or?
Yes, I'm about 30 minutes north of Seattle.
Okay, you have some big trees there, is that right?
Yes.
Are they redwoods? Is that?
No, that's more California. We might have some of those here, but I'm not actually completely sure.
Okay, I don't really know my trees.
Lots of evergreens. I know, I don't either.
But this is really big trees, like the biggest trees, but they've got and in this particular national park, you could drive through one. And so we paid $1 to queue up and then drive through this tree in this massive Dodge. But we couldn't quite, it didn't quite work for us because the van was quite big. And so we had to reverse and come back. And then we said to the woman, "I'm sorry, we couldn't get through it. We'd like our $1 back, please." And I'll never forget what she said. She said, "You have not been conned or deceived." just that little phrase she said just made us laugh.
That's hilarious. So funny.
But with yourself, yes, and your intro text, I guess, or yes, it just reminded me of that. Of being conned and deceived.
Well, you notice the second half of that is I'm actually Norwegian and I need Mike and Ike's, which is a candy with the name of a couple of men. Do you know Mike and Ike's?
Mike and Ike's?
Yes, fruity candy, chewy candy.
Yuck.
I love them. And I call them vitamins.
Really?
It's not even candy. It's vitamins.
Really?
You're not going to know what to do with me, are you?
No. No, this is all too digital, so I can't slap you. But it's not your fault. It's being American.
I love it.
Except you're Norwegian.
Yes, you're right. I'm all over the place.
No, it's great. So, Jen, tell us and our listeners, what is it? Why are we talking? So what is it you do?
What is it I do? Okay, so for a paycheck, I actually am a pastor in an Assembly of God church up here in the Northwest. But what I love to do as well is I travel and speak at events, and I am an author. I have 2 books out. The first one is a 31-day devotional called As My Mind Unwinds. And then today, actually, well, the day we're recording this, is Valentine's Day here in America. And my second book, When My Mind Winds Up, just launched today. And that's on anxiety and how to deal with that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. And you too.
It's interesting timing. Don't know, is that anyway connected with anxiety?
It is interesting timing though, because when people are looking for help with anxiety, a lot of the help you'll see out there will be like, you need self-care, self-love, and all of that. Whereas what's unique about my book is I start right off telling people that anxiety is actually selfish. And here's what I mean by that. If you, and anyone who follows Carey Nieuwhof, which he's actually a Canadian pastor and leadership speaker and stuff, he has a book out called Didn't See It Coming. And he has a phrase in there that says pain is selfish. He says, drop a brick on your toe and see if you can think about anything else. And that is so true. I took that and flew with it with anxiety because I've had anxiety as long as I can remember. And the only thing that has really, really helped me the most is taking the focus off myself and thinking about other people, serving them. That frees me from the bondage and slavery of anxiety. Oh my goodness, can you see my little dog in the background? We're doing this video. Sorry, that's so funny. You might have to edit that out, unless we're...
No, I can't. I can't see a dog.
Oh, he's so cute. He was flying back there in the background. Anyways.
Oh, really? I think you're lying to me. You're winding me up.
Anyways, so yeah. So my take on anxiety is it's selfish, but there's still freedom in that acknowledgement. And so, yeah, so being on Valentine's Day, I find it ironic that it launched on Valentine's Day because, like I said, most people, it's like, love yourself, you'll be okay, which there's truth to that. But my take on it is anxiety is actually kind of selfish, but here we are on Valentine's Day, and it's my gift to the world. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's interesting. So you're publishing it today, or and in what format?
And it is out there in the world, in the internet, all over the place. Everybody can buy it today.
Oh wow! How can people get hold of it?
Sure. You can go to Amazon.com. You can either look up the title, When My Mind Winds Up, or you can look up my name, Ervig. It's at Barnes & Noble. If you Google it, either When My Mind Winds Up or Ervig, it'll pop up at lots of different stores. I'm always surprised where it pops up, but mostly Amazon & Noble. Maybe eventually Target and Walmart usually pick up my books as well.
Okay. I'm only laughing there.
Yeah.
Just because of the way that you mentioned those 2 American stores. Yeah, we don't have those. Target and Walmart.
Yes.
Walmart. I know Walmart's the kind of big foodie type place. Is that right?
It's kind of an everything store. It's like a department store, clothes. It's got like auto stuff, groceries, of course. Yeah, it's like a one-stop shop kind of place.
Okay. So what prompted you to start writing?
Oh my goodness, that's actually kind of a fun story. I don't know how long your episodes are.
Well, my episodes can be as long as it takes, but the restriction here is Zoom. So I've only started using because I've only got the free membership, and so that will cut me off after half an hour, I think.
Well, it'll be interesting what you edit out of this, or if you just leave it all natural too. Which I actually run a podcast, and we just let it go for the most part. We just let it be very organic. But
okay.
writing. How did I get into writing? So I've always been really good at writing. So just like, through school and high school, I was always the girl that would be lazy and wait till the last minute to write my paper and turn it in the next day and get the best grade in the class. It just comes natural to me. But what started me on my book journey is about 6 years ago, my brother, 30 years old at the time, died tragically.
Wow, goodness.
It was deemed an accident, but I suspect foul play, but that's a whole nother story. And I was looking for something on grief and was not finding what I was looking for out there, because everything I would Google about grief would like take you through the 10 steps of grieving or whatever. And I was more looking for something, being a person of faith, that could reconcile what I was feeling and going through with who God says he is and what he says about our realities, and just wasn't finding it. It was at that time I knew I wanted to write a book. So fast forward about 4 or 5 years to, I want to say April of 2018, I came home, sat down in my chair. I was home alone at the time. My kids and my husband weren't home. And I was like, just feeling down on myself. Like, God, I said I was going to write this book and I haven't done it. And God just kind of started having a conversation with me, not out loud, I'm sure that he does talk to some people that way. I don't know. He did in the Bible, but, just through my heart and my mind, I was hearing him say, Jennifer, you already wrote a book. And I was like, what are you talking about? I haven't written a book. He goes, I want you to take everything you've written as a blogger, a ghostwriter, when you've written for different articles, take your favorite things and put them into a devotional format and add coaching questions. I actually happen to be a credentialed coach through the A of G as well. And so I said, but God, that has nothing to do with my brother. And I wanted to write a book on my brother. As well, I can't help which book you wrote first. So I did what he said, like literally that day in the moment. After having this prayer, this conversation with God, I went through all my stuff, picked my favorite 31, added coaching questions. I was done in 2 weeks and it was published in August.
Wow.
It was unprecedented. I went on to be a finalist in a global award called the Author Academy Awards. I made the top 10 global. That's a big deal. But I did not win when I went to present, but that's fine. I'm still very, and people resonate with that book because I'm very no nonsense. I will tell you how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. But that book is a devotional, I would say, but it just takes anything your mind can unwind about in life and try to reconcile it with who God says it he is, which is, if you remember me just saying a few moments ago, what I wanted to do when I was going to write a book on grief. And at the end of that book as well, it does go a little bit into what it was like the day my brother died. And I am going to be working on that book with a friend of mine who's a counselor, because I am not a counselor and I want it to, have some merit behind it if I'm talk about grief, of course. So that's going to take a few years to write. But in the meantime, over this last year, I came out, with this other book on anxiety. And my purpose in writing that is just that, like I mentioned earlier, the best thing that's helped me with anxiety is serving others. And this book is just a way to do that, is to serve others and hopefully help them with their anxiety.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. I suppose if you open the door, I can imagine it could get overwhelming at times. I don't know. If you're saying, I'm here, I can help you, do you get a stampede of, I don't know. How do you manage your time yourself to choose who you help wisely, or I don't know.
You mean as far as being an author and a speaker and a pastor and the people who might approach me for help?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure. So as a pastor, it can get overwhelming at times, but I'm part of a big team. And so we're all there and we kind of divide up between us the opportunities to help our people. As a speaker and just being on social media and an author, I don't get private requests too often, every once in a while, but I try to, on my Instagram and things like that, put good quality content that's something that people can save or share on their own profiles and just have for themselves to help them when they're feeling anxious or anything like that. And so I think that helps people a lot and just gives them something tangible to hold on to. So they're not necessarily reaching out, constantly to me. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds fantastic. It sounds very busy. No, very interesting. I am interested how you manage your time with all those different aspects that you're involved with. Do you kind of just block out the day and I don't know, maybe I'll... Sure.
So practically, I work at the church office, on all my pastoral roles, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday. And then on Sundays, we have 4 services, so we end up being there 7 hours a day. So that's just like my church world stuff. As far as writing, I'll do that on my own time. A lot of times I'll do that for an hour or 2 every Friday. It doesn't, like I said before, it kind of comes naturally to me. It doesn't take me a lot of time like it might take others. And then my social media involvement, staying in connection with, I guess fans, you would say. It seems like a weird thought. Or whoever follows me, I do that right when I wake up in the morning for about 20 minutes, and then I'll be on it for about an hour in the evenings. So I do try to reply to every comment on every post. I do not reply to every message sent to me through Messenger, stuff like that. As you can imagine, a lot of creepy people try to reach out to you and stuff. So I just try to, unless I know you and recognize your name, I'm not necessarily going to respond that way, but I do respond to every comment that somebody makes on an IG post, and usually Facebook as well.
Okay. No, sounds good. So, happiness. We've had a few talks on Everyman Radio on happiness. Mm-hmm. And is it our right? Is it my right, as just as a human being on this big blue marble, to be happy? Is it a right?
That's a good question. I think the answer is yes and no, but more no than yes. I think, as us Americans say, everybody has the right to the pursuit of happiness, right? But it's not fair. We all know that. And you have to fight for what I call joy. Happiness is fine. God wants you to be happy. But if your joy is at stake, he doesn't care about your happiness. And what I mean by that is happiness is very circumstantial. Oh, my kids are behaving today. I'm so happy. Oh, I get to have my favorite dinner today. I'm so happy. I'm so comfortable today. What a happy feeling. This is a great day. But joy is something deeper than that in the midst of seeing my brother dying, like we talked about earlier, I can still have a joy that's rooted in the belief and hope that I'm going to see him someday and that he's not in pain right now because he's with God, that, God loves me and him more than I can even imagine or conceive of love. And I can have this joy inside of me that's not going to cripple who I am and how I function, despite whether I'm happy in the moment or not.
Okay. That sounds fantastic. And you talk a lot and you've written about anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I know I have been asked in certain avenues or places, do you feel anxious? But how does one, I kind of vaguely know what it means, or just when things aren't right, but how do we deal with feeling anxiety, do you think?
Sure. So are you asking, how do we know that what we're feeling is anxiety?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so anxiety is usually, it's like this unsettled feeling that something's not right, and you feel like something's wrong with you, but you don't know what it is. And you kind of feel like a little hopped up, like you can't relax or calm down or chill. And your mind might just be spinning like crazy thinking, what is wrong with me? And like other people see what's wrong with me. And like, you just keep like you start feeling all this like dread and like you're losing control and you can't calm down. That's more of an anxious type mindset. You might find yourself like playing with your fingers a lot, picking your nails, or maybe picking your lips, or just like you just simply can't relax. That's an anxious feeling.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you relax?
So when I'm hopped up and anxious, now here's the thing. When you get like that, it is hard to pull yourself out of that. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of time to bring yourself to a spot where you can take your thoughts captive, where you can calm down. And so what I recommend for people is if they can, when they're not in a state of anxiety, do things like have some Bible verses written down that they can grab when they get anxious, that they can memorize Bible verses so that they are filled with truth in their mind, that you can learn and tell yourself to like maybe breathe deep and calm down for when you do get anxious next. And then, of course, always have a list of like people you can pray for or ways to serve others so that when you do go to that anxious spot, you can maybe train your mind to grab those tangible things. Because when you're anxious, you can't always, it's not like you can just be like, chill, Jennifer, you can't. It's like it controls you almost. So you have to learn ways to control it so that when you get there, you can kind of, it's like you've built yourself a staircase out of a pit that you still have to climb out of when you're anxious, but at least the staircase is already built.
Yeah. I kind of know what I should do in that kind of deep breathing. I have learnt and actually have taught myself pipe breathing and different ways of using the breath to relax, and it's very, very effective. But what I find, what I immediately jump to is I have a cigarette. I find that really helps. I think lots of people do. I know it's kind of frowned upon.
Well, only because we don't want your lungs to turn to tar.
Yes. But I'm very, very careful about what I do smoke. So I only smoke additive-free American Spirit.
Okay.
Or another brand, Pueblo. They're French. But again, they're additive-free. So I believe, and what I've read, and a lot of the harmful effects from smoking do come from all the additives that are thrown into different tobacco. To make them burn quicker and all those types of things, and then all the other, things that really weren't there thousands of years ago when our Native Americans discovered tobacco and thought, yeah, it's good. I don't know. I think the same is true with lots of different products. They have been perverted and corrupted essentially, or the healthiness, things that are healthy have suddenly become not healthy at all, just because of the way they've been mass produced and just become chemical nightmares. I don't know. I'm just ranting now, really.
Hey, ranting's okay. Sometimes that helps with anxiety.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's something I have to be careful with, though. It's not an easy one to do, though. People can get upset quite easily, I find.
True. People are easily offended. That's something I wish that wasn't true, but yes. Yeah,
I think that's coming more so, just as over time, really, for various reasons and various culprits. But it seems to be bringing up and transforming the millennials into real, I don't know. people that aren't quite people yet. I just want to say, just grow up. Just grow up. Grow a pair, we would say to the guys. But I don't know. It's all interesting, though.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. It's great now. So I'm just flicking here. Yeah, no, I'm interested. Yeah, very much in your role as a pastor. I suppose I don't really know much about that, other than in the churches I used to go to. We would, the Reverend would, say some, give short speeches, and I haven't been for a long time. But how is your role? Is it as I remember that, as going to church and singing a song and then having some speeches or affirmations, but you say talk about text from the Bible and Psalms and things like that? I don't know.
Yes. So, yes, our church services, and we have 4 on a Sunday, and they're all an hour long, and they're identical. And the reason we do that instead of having one service is we're a church that probably about 1,600 or more call home, but we can only fit in about 300 at a time. And so we have the 4 services to try to fit in at least 12 to 1,300 on any given Sunday.
Wow.
But in that hour, yeah, we do start with what we would call about 15 minutes of worship. You know, a band leads us up front and in some songs that just worship God and stuff. And then we do some prayer. And then one of our pastors, there's 12 pastors on staff, I'm one of them, gets up on stage and will deliver a word based on the Bible that will help us live out being Christ-like throughout our week in a practical way. What I appreciate about my church in particular is that the sermons are fun to listen to. They're entertaining, as well as very Bible-based and very practical. And then we end the service usually by, taking up a collection and then praying and dismissing everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds good fun. It just makes me think.
Good fun. I love that you use the word fun, because my church is fun. So yes.
Yeah, which is great, because I just remember churches, when I was growing up, fun wasn't a word that we would use to describe it at all. It was
you're absolutely right.
Because we'd have to go into these cold churches with cold pews and uncomfortable seats, and I'm just reminiscing, and just it wasn't fun.
I remember going to church services like that too growing up, but we're created in God's image, and a lot of us are fun. God is fun, and I think he wants some fun in his church.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sounds good. And you have bands. So what type of music do you have, or musicians do you have, or how does?
Sure. So our band usually has a lead guitarist. We have keyboard player, drums, bass, and a lot of their songs, I would say, do seem to follow kind of like a Hillsong feel. Do you know what I'm talking about, referring to Hillsong?
I'll say yes, but I haven't got a clue.
Well, Google it. You'll know what I mean.
Hillsong.
Yes.
I have no idea.
And I would say all of your American listeners, if you have any, are going to totally know what I'm talking about. But, worship pastors, the typical like plaid button-down shirt, skinny jeans, cool hair. But it's not all a show at our church. It's legit. Our worship team loves Jesus, and they are preparing their hearts every Sunday to draw us to God. Somebody is opening my front door, and I don't expect that. That means one of my family members is home.
Oh, goodness.
Just walked in. Be quiet. I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, good idea. And do you do podcasts yourself, or is it more?
So my church actually has podcasts. We have a Bible reading podcast. And so what that does is two of our pastors, Evan and Aaron, go through text of the Bible and try to make it make sense to our listeners. And people can even message in with questions that they want answered, things they don't understand about the Bible. And they do a great job, and they're entertaining at it as well. And then we have another podcast called the Grow Family Podcast, and I host that one.
Oh, wow.
I'll interview different people, topics about the family, like how do you get your kids to clean their room? Or what do I do with my aging parents? How do I prepare, for the inevitable? Like how to be a part of your community. We had a guest come on and talk about how we can support our Spanish-speaking community that that live among us, things like that, or how to lead. We had the mayor's wife on. So, and my episodes are usually about 8 to 12 minutes long in that interview style, and it's a really great podcast for people with a family or who are just part of the community.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I like the getting more involved with the community thing.
Yeah.
I think there's one here. I'm being silly now. Of course there is. I suppose it's not one I've kind of got that involved with. So yeah, finding tips to get more involved with the community. Recognize we're not all isolated and on our own, and I think we are working with others on doing different things is a very good thing to do, and it's in my must do more things of note. I don't know.
List.
List, yes. Yeah. No, that's great. And so if people are interested in the work that you do, I know you may have mentioned that at the beginning, but how can they get hold of you and get hold of your book? I think it sounds good.
Yes, thank you. So the best way and easiest way is if you just go to my website, which is www.asmymindandwines.com. If you do Google my name, Jen Ervig, E-R-V-I-G, my website will pop up. Everywhere that sells my book will pop up. My Instagram handle is at Jen's Mind and Wines. And so those are to reach me.
Yeah, you did well there. They're quite good handles.
Pretty easy to remember, I hope.
Yeah, no, that's good. My little bit of getting involved with the community today was just going out to buy some food for lunch, and there was a busker playing the guitar, and he was fantastic, really good. So I'm going to actually see him play on Wednesday. Because he said he's teamed up with a female singer, and he was playing the guitar, but they kind of early stages of a band, I guess. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm going to play him now what I recorded, just shooting from a cell phone as he was recording. He was cool about it. Very good too.
That's awesome. And that is actually an amazing way to support your community, is to highlight the talent that's out there and show appreciation. I love that.
Yeah. No, that's good. That sounds good. And thank you very much for talking to us.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
And good luck with your book and promoting that. And I hope everyone has a look and buys the book. And tell us what you think.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rich.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, cheers, Jen. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Music your way.
And now it's time for some hilarious comedy on Everyman Radio.
This fantastic Technogadgetbore show is proudly sponsored by webscontent.com. Fast, secure and reliable.
Fast, secure, and reliable web hosting from Web's Content.
Hi, Technogadgetbore. It's Serge Tacker here. I have a question for you. I've worked as an analyst at leading organisations in the UK. Organisations such as the local council, Carlsberg, DHL, and TNT Logistics. One of the biggest IT problems I've encountered is that at month end, the systems are very slow. Yet, the analysts have always got pressure to produce operational reports and analysis which management requires. When we phone IT normally say the system is slow because it's month end and everybody is doing reporting, payroll, etc. Is there a solution that you can recommend to this problem, which I think every organisation encounters? I'd be interested to know your thoughts on this. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Surjit Singh Tekar, for your message. It's a very good question. I believe the solution can be found by ensuring you document your procedures. Sorry. To me, it's just so obvious. You need very good procedures, well documented, and make sure you have installed the best RAM for your ZX Spectrum. Thank you. Be sure to send your messages to the Technogadgetbore show, and I will give you the best answer I possibly can.
The Technogadgetbore Show, the tech podcast to help you upgrade your ZX Spectrum and Commodore 64.
New music.
I had no home to rely on, driving around in a passenger van, dreaming of when I'd ever begin to start my life. That's when I moved to the city to be on the stage, but the curtain had closed. You walked in the room, and that's when I knew that I was home, and my life will begin. Didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. You took a flight from the desert to take up a room with a mutual friend. Couches and wine and everything's fine. Just one day at a time, and it gets you by. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to move till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Somebody like you. Somebody like you. I was just fading away till I met you. I was just notes on a page till I met you. Never imagined the day when I'd meet somebody like you. Couldn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Somebody like you. Somebody like you. I didn't believe it was true till I met somebody. I met somebody like you. Had no direction to
Thank you for listening to Everyman Radio. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends on social media.
Goodbye.